The kingdom was losing the war. Before sunrise, King Edmund gathered every knight for one final command. Everyone believed this order would decide whether the kingdom survived or disappeared forever. The king called for his greatest knight. Every soldier expected Sir Cedric to kneel and accept the mission. Instead, he looked at the king and refused. No one spoke. No knight had ever refused a direct royal command, not during peace, and certainly not on the eve of the kingdom's greatest battle. Commander Rowland stepped forward. Arrest him. Within seconds, the kingdom's greatest hero was surrounded by his own brothers. Everyone believed they had just witnessed the greatest act of betrayal in the kingdom's history. Cedric never resisted. As the prison door closed behind him, he asked the guards one strange question. "Has anyone checked the Eastern Pass?" The guards laughed. No one understood why that mattered. Back in the war room, Commander Rowland smiled. "The enemy is exactly where we expected." Every general agreed. No one even looked at the Eastern Pass marked in the corner of the map. As the sun rose, the battle began exactly as the generals predicted. Thousands of enemy soldiers attacked the western gate. Everything seemed to be going according to plan. Locked inside his prison cell, Cedric ignored the sounds of battle. His eyes never left the eastern mountains. He wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid everyone else would. Hours later, the Western army began to celebrate. The enemy was falling back. Commander Rowland smiled. "We've won." For the first time that day, even the king believed the kingdom had been saved. But miles away, hidden behind the mountains, another army had never joined the battle. They had been waiting in complete silence. And now, they were marching straight toward the kingdom's undefended Eastern Pass. Then a messenger rode into the castle at full speed. The Eastern Pass. The enemy is inside the kingdom. The celebration ended instantly. The king looked back at the battle map. For the first time, he noticed the Eastern Pass, the same route Cedric had warned them about only hours earlier. Without saying a word, King Edmund ran to the prison. If Cedric had been right, the kingdom had just made a terrible mistake. The prison door opened. The king looked into Cedric's eyes. "I should have listened." Cedric didn't blame him. He simply asked, "How much time do we have?" "There isn't much." Cedric picked up his sword. "There are only two ways this ends. Either we stop them, or there will be no kingdom left to save." So Cedric didn't ask for an army. He chose only 50 knights. Every minute mattered now. If they reached the Eastern Pass first, the kingdom still had a chance. When they arrived, Cedric finally saw the enemy. There weren't hundreds. There were thousands. His men looked at him in silence. He simply drew his sword. Cedric wasn't planning to defeat them. He only needed to stop them long enough to destroy the bridge behind him. That single bridge was the only path into the kingdom. The fighting was fierce. One by one, Cedric's knights fell. But every second they held the bridge gave the kingdom more time to prepare. When the last of his men crossed, Cedric gave the order. "Burn it!" Flames swallowed the bridge. Moments later, it collapsed into the canyon below. The bridge was gone. The enemy could go no farther. The kingdom was finally safe. Only a handful of Cedric's men were still standing, and Cedric himself could barely remain on his feet. When Cedric returned, the castle was silent. The same soldiers who had called him a traitor now stepped aside without saying a word. The king walked toward him alone. King Edmund lowered his head. "I gave you an order. You disobeyed me. And because you did, our people are still alive." For the first time in his reign, the king thanked a man for refusing him. History would remember Sir Cedric as the knight who refused the king's final order. But those who knew the truth understood something far greater. Sometimes the greatest act of loyalty looks exactly like betrayal.